Hi guys, and welcome back to A Dinosaur in the Library. I'm Dawn, and I'm here to ramble about books again. Actually, I'm here to do another book haul because I have a serious problem, and I know I'm not the only one, so, I don't feel so alone out there buying way too many books. Hi, I'm Dawn. I'm a book hoarder. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm here to do another book haul. They're from a couple of different places. I kind of tried to break them up into some sort of reasonable category, so I wasn't just like rambling on, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so the first ones I'm going to do, I got two of them from a Goodwill bookstore and one of them from a used bookstore in town. The first two are from Goodwill, and this one is Ex Libris Confessions of a Common Reader by Ann Fadiman, and I think it was like $2 or $3, and it's about books and reading, so that's all I needed to know. Plus, I just really like the cover. It's very simple, but I like it. Then this one, I don't even have to explain why I bought this as soon as I read the title. Time Travel in Einstein's Universe, The Physical Possibilities of Travel Through Time by J. Richard Gott. And I'm not going to keep this on screen too long because that green is bad on camera. But I do like the binding, or the spine on it. And then the third used book I got this month, I got at one of our local used bookstores. Hi, my favorite books. And it's Poppy Z. Bright's Exquisite Corpse. And this is a horror novel. And I do have several of Poppy Z. Bright's books. I absolutely love her. She's very... actually, let me correct myself. When these were published, she was Poppy Z. Bright, and she was presenting as a woman. She is now transgender and prefers to be known as Billy and uses the pronoun he, so I apologize. But when these came out, she was a woman. But anyway, these are horror novels, and it's not a series or anything like that. And even if you really, really like horror, I would caution you that this one in particular is very graphic. There are cannibals and serial killers in it, so it's pretty darn graphic in that respect. And so if you don't like that sort of thing, I would not suggest reading this particular one of hers. But Lost Souls is a vampire book, but it's amazing. So if you don't like vampires, but you sort of like them, it's not like Twilight-y. It's more Anne Rice vampires. And then Drawing Blood is also excellent. And then there's a collection of short stories called Wormwood. So if you're interested in reading her and you kind of like horror, those would be better places to start if you're not really into the graphic, bloody sort of thing. It's not splatterpunk gory, but it's pretty graphic. So just as a small warning, I don't want to scare anybody unduly. Alright, so then I think the only children's or young adult book I got in this haul was The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente. This is the first in the series, which I have read, but I got it from the library, and I desperately want to get the rest of the series and own it because I love this series. And if you watch Jen Campbell's channel, which if you are not, why? Go watch it now. I'll link it below. You know what? Pause me. Go check her out. Come back. But come back. Anyway, this is an amazing series. She loves it too. My only concern is she has the first one in this edition, but then the other ones are in a different edition, and I desperately want this edition. This is not focusing, and they're kind of shiny, but they're similar to this. They have the oval with the gorgeous illustration, and they're done like this, and I really, really want them in this edition, so we'll see. But I finally have a copy of my own. I just have to get the rest of them. Next in the fiction pile is going to be Sharon McCrum's King's Mountain, a ballad novel. And I have read this before. I read this when it came out, but I borrowed the hardback from the library. And if you've noticed from how much I talk about her, I absolutely adore the ballad novels by Sharon McCrum. So I needed to have this one in my collection, of course, because occasionally when I have the time, I reread the entire ballad series, and there's a pretty good number of them, and she has a new one coming out this fall, so yay! The next two my wife bought because she was a huge fan of Gone Girl, and she's already read this one, and that's Dark Places, and this one is Sharp Objects, both by Gillian Flynn. And I have not read these or Gone Girl, and I've been told by her that that's really a shame, and I should really be ashamed of myself, and I need to read it. But as we all know, TBRs are massive, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I will eventually. The next one is kind of both of our book. I heard about this author and probably this particular book on another channel, and it may have been Jen Campbell and it may not. If it was somebody's channel, you remember doing this, and I'm not mentioning you, please let me know, and I will link you down below. And I'm very sorry if I forgot your name or which video I saw it in. It's called Within These Walls by Anya Alborn. She also wrote The Bird Eater, and I've never read anything by her, but it's a supernatural thriller. There's something about a cult leader. Sounds amazing to me. That's all I needed to know. And this one needs very little introduction. It's Toni Morrison's brand spanking new book, God Help the Child. It's so pretty, and it's mine now, and I'm so excited. I love Toni Morrison so very much. I need to get all of her books and reread every single one of them because she is just that amazing. And I love this edition. It's a very, oh look, it's pink. It's very pretty pink. And it's a really simple cover, but I really love the way it's designed. So yeah, and Madame Morrison herself on the back. So I'm very proud to finally own this one. Then the next three are all Signet Classics editions. I finally have a copy of War of the Worlds again. There were prettier editions, including some that had a little bit extra material in it, but the material was so little. It was like 2 pages, so I didn't see spending $6 more for 2 pages, which I could probably find, the content of which I could probably find online because it's all from the 1800s. But yeah, I finally have it, and it matches my other editions. So very exciting. This one, I don't know how I haven't read this book. I thought I had in my long years of sci-fi reading, but I have not. And that is Flatland, A Romance of Many Dimensions by Edwin A. Abbott. Again, in the Signet edition. And I don't know how I haven't read this. I thought I had. And then I picked it up, read the back, and went, nope. So, and then the third one is a book I have already read. It was one of my very favorite plays growing up, and I just love it. And it's Cyrano de Bergerac by Edmond Rostand. And I saw Steve Martin's movie from the late 80s, Roxanne, on TV the other day, and it's always been one of my very favorite movies. And it reminded me that I desperately needed to reread this, and then I realized I don't have a copy of it anymore. So, of course, I had to buy it, and they have it in the low price Signet edition. It's like $5 for a nice shiny edition that includes introduction, afterword, text of the book, and a pretty decent design cover for low price point books. Then the only other fiction book I got, I'm so excited and so sad at the same time, that is book number 5 in the Hatter M graphic novels, Love of Wonder, and these are by Frank Better, with Liz Cavalier and Sammy Mackinnon, and I think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm excited because I desperately love the Looking Glass Wars series and the Hatter M series, but this is the very last one in the graphic novels. Number 5 is it. There's no more graphic novels for Hatter M after this, and that makes me extremely sad. But he is supposed to be writing a prequel series focusing on Hatter M when he goes to the Millinery Academy, so when he's younger. I'm very, very excited about that when it does come out. I thought it was supposed to come out this year, but I haven't seen it anywhere, and I haven't seen a date, so it may be next year. If anybody knows, let me know below. And then the next stack, and the rest of these actually are all nonfiction. This one I got on pretty good sale at Books A Million. I think it was like $4. Heads in Beds, A Reckless Memoir of Hotels, Hustles, and So-Called Hospitality by Jacob Tomsky. And it's one of those sort of undercover books. He worked in hospitality for 10 or 15 years, and it's all about crazy people in hotels and weird crap that goes on that nobody tells you about. Which I know some of the weird crap that goes on because my wife works in hospitality. So, weirdness abounds, trust me. But anyway, I'm kind of into that sort of nonfiction about, you know, things that are going on behind the scenes. I have one by a waitress somewhere behind me that I haven't had a chance to read yet. But I will eventually. And if you can hear kind of a clicking, that's the hamster. Nora is over there making lots of noise. Hi, Nora. This one is Living with a Wild God, A Non-Believer's Search for the Truth About Everything by Barbara Ehrenreich. And I absolutely love Barbara Ehrenreich. She wrote Nickel and Dimed, if you haven't read anything by her. And Nickel and Dimed is where she kind of went undercover in these extremely low-paying jobs, things like Walmart, you know, stuff like that, and tried to live on the amount of money she made only at that job. And, you know, she's very upfront about the fact that she does have a very privileged position in these situations because she has a safety net that most of these people don't. And having worked and lived in those situations my entire life, I found it to ring very true. So I can vouch for at least portions of it. Some of the jobs I've never worked at, but I did work at a Walmart for 4 years, so I can vouch for the pay being what it is and how these working conditions are. So I think that as true as that section is, I think that carries over to the rest of it. And I've read her other nonfiction, and it's just amazing. So I'm looking forward to reading this. This is a little different than her other stuff, but it looks to be really good. I've heard good things. Then the next one I have is The Invention of Murder, How the Victorians Reveled in Death and Detection and Created Modern Crime by Judith Flanders. And I don't know how much explanation I need to do. The title's pretty good. I do like the cover design. And the end, the spine here. Why am I forgetting words today? Spine. This is a spine. She's a British author, and I haven't read anything else by her. I don't know if she has other books out. She probably does, but I don't know. But it sounded really, really cool. So, and it's a nice chunky book. I do love a good chunky book. Oh, there's just something about it, right? Preaching to the choir, I know. Then I've got The Clockwork Universe, Isaac Newton, the Royal Society, and the Birth of the Modern World by Edward Dolnick. And this one's been on my TBR for, well, since it came out. Because when I first put it on my TBR, it was a hardcover. And I, of course, really didn't have the money at the time to buy it. So it sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there. But now it's in paperback. And I happened to be able to pick it up the day I was at Books A Million. And then my last one before I get into another section. I picked this one up at Barnes & Noble yesterday. And I was reminded very clearly why I have traded my loyalty to Books A Million from Barnes & Noble. Because, you know, I went into Books A Million the last time and picked up these classics. You know, these are both from the 1800s. This is from 1884, and I don't remember what year War of the Worlds was published in, but late 1800s. And Cyrano de Bergerac, I don't remember its first publication date, but it is not a 20th century book. I mean, I've gotten all my Shirley Jackson there, my Flannery O'Connor, you know, it just, they have a lot of different classics, a lot of different books that are technically not maybe considered classics, but that are, you know, people that you would want to read. I know they probably had some Jeanette Winterson at Books A Million, but unfortunately in my town, Books A Million is on the, what I think of as the wealthy side of town, and it is the wealthy side of town, the wealthy side of town, the North End, and traffic, and I got off work at 5 yesterday and was going over there. No, I would have been over there till today. I would have just now been getting home. So it would have been a murder-suicide sort of situation. So I decided to go to Barnes & Noble, which is much closer, and much easier to access with the traffic that time of day, but I was sorely disappointed. They had no bell hooks. They had no Charlotte Perkins Gilman. They had no Jeanette Winterson, even though they said they had a biography, which I already have, so I wouldn't have bought it, but they had nothing. They had one Shirley Jackson book, and that was Haunting of Hill House. They had no Flannery O'Connor on the shelf. I mean, I don't know how much I need to go on about this, but it just annoyed me. And then I got flack from a customer service guy because I also, which I don't have it over here next to me, it's over there somewhere, it's my wife's book, I'll probably read it, but it's Joey Graceffa's book in real life. He's a YouTuber. He just literally came out, but then also came out with a new music video, which I watched. It was a really beautiful music video, and I really liked it. And I think he's friends with just Shane Dawson, who, as I've said before, my wife is completely obsessed with, and which is and of course I had done a review of I Hate My Selfie, which I will link below. It's a double review of that and Caitlin Moran's How to Be a Woman, which kind of ties into this book, which is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. And I want to say that Library at the Edge of the World is the last place I saw this talked about, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so if you've talked about it and you think I've watched you, I'm not leaving you out on purpose. That's just the one that sticks in my head. I think she talked about it, and if you didn't, sorry. It's been a bad week, guys, so just give me a little bit of slack. Anyway, it's a set of essays, and it sounds kind of similar to what Caitlin Moran was doing with How to Be a Woman. So, and I liked that book. I only gave it 3 stars. Really should have probably been 3.5, but of course, as we know, Goodreads regrettably does not give us half stars. But I didn't like Caitlin Moran's tone in a couple of places, but I did really like the book. And again, I'll link that double review of that and Shane Dawson's book below so that you can check it out if you wish. And depending on how I feel about this book, I may do a review of it as well. Okay, what have I got left? Oh, I forgot one in the fiction. Yeah, I finally got me a copy of Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Are Watching God. This is the 75th anniversary Harper Perennial Modern Classics edition. And there is another 75th anniversary edition. I saw it at Books A Million, but then Joe on Joe Reads Books, who I'll also link below, had it, and it's got this beautiful tree on it. And I started to get that one, but I got this one because it matches the autobiography edition that I have, which was in my last month's haul. So, but the way I have my books shelved, they're not going to be next to each other, but I'll know they're the same edition. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's a gorgeous edition. It's this beautiful cover. It's textured, and it's got the flaps, and then it also has this decal edge, which is really hard to see on the camera, but it's got the decal edge, and it's just beautiful. And on the back, it has one of the most beautiful quotes from the entire book. Janie saw her life like a great tree in leaf, with the things suffered, things enjoyed, things done and undone. Dawn and doom was in the branches, which is why there's a tree on the other edition. Freaking gorgeous writing, just amazing. You should read this if you haven't. It is positively a modern classic that everyone should read, and I love it. And Jo on Joe Reads Books agrees with me because she just included it in her book tag of 5 books you can't believe other people haven't read yet. So take this as a recommendation from me. Go get it. Guarantee your library has it if you don't want to buy it. Alright, and then the last few books I have are sort of related to school, but not technically. A couple of them not technically, but sort of. This one I didn't know existed. It's a tiny, tiny little book. Let me show you. You can see, because this is a trade paperback, standard size. And then this is the book. This is We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And no, I have not read Americana yet. It is sitting on my shelf, though. And it's a really cool little book. It's got the flaps. But it's from her TEDx talk of the same name, which I did not know about. I'm going to have to watch now, maybe after I read it. But it just sounded really cool. I found it online when I was searching for this. Feminist Theory from Margin to Center by Bell Hooks, which I have, of course, as a women's studies major, read a number of years ago. But I'm going to be using queer theory and feminist theory probably in my dissertation, and this is something that I desperately needed to brush up on. And who doesn't need bell hooks in their life? Who doesn't need bell hooks in their home? You do. Trust me, you do. Even if you're not into seriously academic stuff, her book Feminism is for Everybody is for everybody, and it's a brilliant, short, beautiful little book that you need to get hold of. But anyway, this is Feminist Theory from Margin to Center, which has some really amazing things in it, and I'm very glad that I finally got it. And this Routledge edition is gorgeous. They have a lot of her stuff in this edition, and I hope I can get the rest of them in this edition as well. And the last 3 are for my classes, or for my class in the first half of summer. And I know someone in one of my other videos said that they wouldn't mind seeing stuff that I had gotten for research, so I will go ahead and show you these. And if you don't really care about the kind of things I do for research, you can kind of tune out these last 3 books if you want. The first one is, and I'm going to complain about the book cover on this one in a minute, Gendering the City, Women, Boundaries, and Visions of Urban Life. And you will see why I had to squint. It's all in black on a dark, you can't really see it that well. Hell, you can't really see it that well in real life, but it's dark blue with a black text. And it's, I didn't even know it had a subtitle until I opened the book and saw the title page, because I could not see that. And I'm not colorblind. I have no color blindness issues at all. And it's just impossible to see. So this particular edition, it's a Rowman and Littlefield, which is weird because Rowman and Littlefield are usually pretty good edition, but this cover is just terrible. And anyway, so it's a, I'm going to stop now. Sorry. I had to go off a little bit about that because no one in my class is really a book freak, and nobody else's edition seems to be like this. So nobody else can feel my pain, but I know my booktube friends, you can feel my pain on this. Anyway, it's a set of articles, and the class that I'm taking is Gender and Planning. It's technically through the Urban and Regional Planning department at our school, which I am not in. So it's, I thought it might be a touch over my head, but I have a women's studies friend who took the class and said that it was fine. And she was right. These are not heavy duty planning theory things. They do talk some about things that have to do with urban planning, but mainly it's about space and women's issues and men's issues and the issues about gender, both binary and trans and fluid, which I haven't seen a whole lot of that yet, but I'm hoping to see it soon, and just how that affects the spaces we live in and how we can make those spaces more inclusive and better adapt them for everybody. And then the other book is the same sort of thing, Gender and Planning a Reader by Susan S. Feinstein and Lisa L. Servan. And oh wait, I don't know that this is Christine B. Moran and Alma H. Young. And it's another collection of essays on the same sort of topics. And I'm really enjoying both of these. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, they are fairly academic in tone, but I'm sure your library may have them. They're actually not as expensive as I was fearing. They were only about $30 a piece, which is high for paperback books, but not if it's a textbook. That's really, really cheap for a textbook, actually. And the third one I bought for my own edification. We are going to have to read from it later in the semester, but she didn't require us to buy it. Basically, she edited it, and she has 2 essays in it. But it's Planning in LGBT Communities, The Need for Inclusive Queer Spaces, edited by Petra Eldone, who is my professor for this class, and she's amazing, amazing, amazing. She's a transgender urban planning scholar, and she does a lot with developing areas of the world, that sort of planning, but she also does a lot of research into queer space. And again, my research interest being LGBTQ youth and the space of the library, I thought that this would be very relevant to my interests and very relevant to my research. So I'm looking forward to actually getting to read some of those because I haven't gotten to that one yet. But believe it or not, that is all of my haul. It was plenty. I know I'm running to 21 minutes. This is going to take about 3 days to upload to YouTube. I know. But that's okay because I'm not planning on uploading it right yet. So I hope everybody is having a wonderful week. And if you haven't, I'm hoping this video will be up before the giveaway ends. But if you have not watched my Scholastic book haul video, there is a giveaway in that. So please go watch that if you want to enter the giveaway. And for everybody who already has, thank you so much and good luck, and I will see you all in my next video where I will be announcing the winners. And I love you all, and I hope you have a great week. Bye!